Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. Once again, on behalf of entire managed services team, we'd like to welcome you all to this 23B HR Helpdesk and ORC advisory webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarterly release which Oracle provides. My name is Hardik Patel and I'm an operations manager here at Mastek Managed Services team. Today I'm your host for this session and I'm glad to introduce my colleague who's part of our vast HCM team in Mastek UK. Today he'll take us through all the HR Helpdesk and ORC updates for 23B quarter release. Today's session is planned for around 45 to 60 minutes and we'll make sure that we also spare some time to answer any questions you may have. If you also would like to leave questions with the help of question or chat panel, we have also panelists available, and Radha and Simran, they can take it up as well. Before we move to the agenda, let's have a quickly look at the important disclaimer, please. We would like to convey your approach towards Oracle updates in a very, very simpler method. We'll be taking you through vital analysis for the 23B updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporate new features and updates easily into your system. We'll also sync you on any bugs or known issues if there are any. It's good to have an interactive session, so as mentioned earlier, please do ask questions through chat or question panel, please. So just to give you a glimpse on how we have crafted the structure of this session. So the first thing what you see is a list of new features coming into the 23B, detailing on features. So you get a brief understanding on what new features are all about. The next one is what are the business benefits, an important takeaway for you as a decision maker. And next, what are there are 4 components where we have done in-depth analysis of the features which we're going to present to you today. The first one is what you say is impact level analysis, which demonstrate the impact on end user. If it's low impact, then regression testing can be avoided. If it's a high impact, then we need to offer regression testing. Second one, which is we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto-enabled and by Oracle, and there's some which we need to opt for. And third one highlights the nature of the feature. There would be certain configuration which may be required and some can be used without any changes. And the last one, which is a quick win. This term we simply use to convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and efforts to make use of this feature. So with this, I'll be handing over to my colleague. But just before that, on a quick poll, we'd like to note down which industry does your organization belongs to, please? Thank you so much. We'll be closing the poll now, and I'll ask my colleague, Meet. Please unmute yourself, and this is all yours, Meet. Please go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hardik, and thank you for all the attendees for sparing time for the next 45 minutes to 60 minutes as part of this webinar for HR Helpdesk and Oracle Recruiting Cloud. So I'll get started. Let's get through. So we are going to be talking about 48 new features that are coming as part of the 23B release for HR Helpdesk and Oracle Recruiting Cloud. And the way in which we have structured the features that I'll be talking about today is we would primarily be talking about Oracle Recruiting Cloud because that's where the majority of the features are, and then we will talk about the HR Helpdesk features that are released by Oracle as part of this release. First things first, as Hardik mentioned, we have split this into 4 categories, and the first category that we have are the new features, which are quick wins, which are default with potentially no configuration required from your side as a customer or as a partner to utilize this in Oracle. So the first one is the career site configuration. We now have the option of additional role layouts. that Oracle have released. So you can see there's a 25% by 75% and a 75% by 25% layout available now. I think this is going to be quite handful for customers to use to design their career sites. And most often what we used to face an issue earlier was, if you had an icon or a small image and you had some text or a paragraph right next to it, right? It would either be into two halves or it would have been one entire blob, and we might have to utilize some custom CSS to be able to have that particular layout, right? But with this release now, you end up getting this 25% by 75% and vice versa layout, which should be quite handful to use. So that's the first feature that Oracle has released. Moving next, this is again for the career site configuration, which is the global header settings. Now, whenever you would be configuring the global header for a career site, right? At the top, this is primarily for internal candidates. You do have the option of either having a hamburger icon, as you see over here in the first image. This is similar to the navigator that we have in Oracle, right? So we call it the navigator. Oracle calls it the hamburger pie icon or the hamburger icon, right? So you can toggle between having this, that is the first one where you see my profile, or you can have a much more wider layout where you can see I am an employee and my profile. If you go with the hamburger navigation, if you click on the hamburger, you end up seeing I am an employee and my profile visible over here. Apart from this, what Oracle have also given us the ability is to configure this text, as you can see. So I am an employee text is set to I am an employee right now, or you can reword it to if you are an employee, right? And my profile is just says my profile, but again, you have the option of renaming it as well. So this just delivers, a much better career site experience for internal and external candidate, and it can be personalized a bit for a customer. So I think this is a really good feature with, again, very minimal config required for you to consume it. Moving next, then we have increased link limits. So with this particular feature upgrade that Oracle has released, you now have the option of up to 25 links and sublinks for the header of a career site during the configuration process. Now, this is a great feature for a lot of our customers, and potentially you as well. You might have realized that earlier we only used to be able to have, I think it was 12 or 15 links and sublinks at the header, and if you wanted to have more, you had to rely on custom HTML as well as custom CSS and JavaScript to be able to show the drop down menus in the header. But with this upgrade now, you have the option of having 25 links and sublinks. So this makes it very easy for people who are managing the career site, and they essentially do not need any expertise in CSS and HTML to be able to configure more than 15 or 12 links that we have currently. Moving on to the next one is contextualized career sites with job requisition flex fields. So as of now, as we speak, right, you can only contextualize which career site a job requisition should be posted depending on certain attributes like your organization, your job family, your location, your recruiting type, etc. But going forward, you will have the ability of utilizing a flex field, right? So this becomes really important for global customers, I would say, who do not have the ability to use any of those 3 or 4 parameters that are available and are forced to use just one global career site, right? But now with the use of flex fields, you can have a linkage between your career site and this particular flex field that can be enabled on the configuration side of the career site. The only caveat over here is that only independent descriptive flex fields are supported, but so you need to have an independent DFF and you need to have a list of values against it so that you can have a one-to-one or a one-to-many mapping with the career site. whenever you are contextualizing it. Custom filters are not visible on the tiles for the site list yet. So even though there is a contextualization available now, custom filters are not visible on the tiles for the site tiles that we have as part of the configuration. So the business benefit, as I said, that will be delivered is you can use values in a descriptive flex field that you would have defined on a requisition to post that particular requisition to the corresponding career site. Moving on to the next one is a deep link to the find a candidate page. So a new feature has been added which allows you with the creation of a deep link for the find the candidate page, right? So if you have your internal URLs, internal SharePoints, etc., from where you want a recruiter or a hiring manager to directly navigate to searching a candidate, instead of going through a few clicks by logging into Oracle, clicking the hiring icon, clicking on candidates and then searching, it just reduces the number of clicks primarily, right? So you do have the find a candidate deep link now, which you can use and directly navigate to that particular page. You can also bookmark this link. So if this is widely shared with your hiring managers and recruiters, they can bookmark it, and just clicking it will directly take you to that particular page, and hence making it easy for you to find a candidate down the line. This is one of my star features, I would say, that has been released by Oracle, is that the latest job applications and interactions are now available in the grid view, as well as in the search results list. So hiring managers and recruiters can now view where candidates are currently active on job applications from those search result lists by displaying the 3 most recent job applications that they've had. Earlier, you had to go to the candidate's profile and have a look at it, but now you can get that information for the 3 latest job applications that they have in the grid view itself. Now, you do know that the grid view has been released by Oracle since a couple of years now, right? And it was a much sought after feature that customers had. So I think this is just Oracle building on top of it, and I think recruiters and hiring managers would be, would have a massive impact in using this particular feature. Moving on to the next one is you now have the select all checkbox for bulk actions on the search results list. So whenever you are searching a candidate, right, you now have the option of selecting all the candidates at once. Earlier, you had to select them manually one by one, but now on the candidate search page, Oracle has given the option of selecting all. But similar to any other applicant tracking system, there is a limit. You can only select 500. So even if you had, Taleo previously, right? When you selected the list of candidates by selecting all, the maximum it could select was 500. So there is still a limit because obviously selecting, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 candidates on the search page can really become quite resource intensive and can really cause some delays, and your system might hang. So Oracle has limited that to 500 as of now. Maybe in the future that gets enhanced, but I think that's a step ahead. Even though you just see 10, 15, 20, 60 candidates on your screen, but if there are, let's say, 250 candidates, and if you select all, it ends up selecting all 250 of them. You don't need to keep on clicking load more till the time you reach those 250 or 500 candidates to be able to select them all. So I think that's a feature that would be very, very helpful to recruiters going into 23B. You now have access to all the candidate pools. So this is one of the issues which I personally have faced quite often with my customers, especially when there have been people who have left the recruitment team and the organization. And if they have created talent candidate pools, which were either tagged as private, or if they had been the owner and there was not a shared owner, they ended up becoming orphan pools, right? And it was quite difficult to log in as them, which again isn't really the greatest way of doing it. And those ended up being orphan pools, right? Which isn't a great experience for everyone. So with 23B now, Oracle has given an extra privilege that can be added to any of your system administrator roles, right? Which gives you access to all the pools, including private pools, without you being the owner of it, right? So this makes it easier if somebody has left the organization for you to reassign the owner of that pool from, let's say, person X who has left to person Y who is still a part of your organization, instead of relying on a dummy person record or something like that. So I think that's a feature that that would be quite helpful to system administrators from 23B onwards. Now, in the last release, or I think it was the one before that, Oracle introduced a new field called as workplace, right? And you had a few options. You had on-site, hybrid, remote, which you could select on the job requisition, which was also visible to the candidates when they were searching for jobs on your career site. And they could also filter requisitions based on whether the job is on-site, hybrid, or remote, right? Now, with this release onwards, Oracle have introduced the workplace attribute in the offer info section of a job requisition. And apart from that, you also have the ability of using this particular field for approvals. So if you have a job requisition which is on site and you might require, I don't know, a site management team to approve it because they have to ensure logistics are put in place, right? You can use this particular field and have approvals instead of relying on a TFF, right? So I think this is going to be quite helpful for customers who might want to have different approvals based on the workplace field that Oracle released a couple of releases back. And an extension to the same field is that we do now have a database item which is available on the workplace field that we had, right? And the new database item, as you can see, is IRC_CSP underscore REQ, which is for requisition underscore workplace underscore type underscore code. Now, if you're creating fast formulas based on recruiting candidate selection process, if it's a computed field or for a recruiting job requisition for filling and closing automatically, you can use the database item which refers to the value that will be there in this particular field. So again, it's just an extension and enhancement, and Oracle is building on top of things they have released a couple of releases back. We have an enhanced internal candidate experience through Opportunity Marketplace. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of what Opportunity Marketplace is, but let me just spend 30 seconds on this. So Opportunity Marketplace is, and let me say it's an equivalent or replacement of the internal jobs or the current jobs icon that you had, right? So using Opportunity Marketplace, you can have and you can apply to those, right? So from 23B onwards, you will have the option of having Opportunity Marketplace enabled in case if that's the area you would want to use going down the line. So it is based on the Redwood design system that Oracle has released since I think a few months now, and going down the line, you would see more and more pages being redesigned into the Redwood design system. So I think this is a great feature. I personally have been using Opportunity Marketplace with a lot of my customers who have been early adopters, and the feedback from them has been excellent. So I would definitely recommend you guys to adopt this feature and start using it for your internal career site experience. Again, an extension to the workplace field that we have support for autocomplete rules. So as you might be aware that we have autocomplete rules that we can write in Oracle, which helps in defaulting values in a particular field, which helps in doing some simple and complex validations whilst you're on the job requisition form or any other form on the newsfeed UX pages that we have. So talking about that, Oracle has extended the option of using the workplace field that we have for object defaulting as well as object validation as part of the autocomplete rules. We do now have enhanced search and filter capabilities for events on career side. Right? Now, since the last two releases, Oracle has been, talking about this new feature called as events that you can create and advertise on your career site. Right? So, campus fairs is a good example of an event. So with that, with the 23B release now, it is possible for candidates to search for events on the career sites, but by just not using the event name, all right? But you can also use event category. I have created an event category called campus fairs, right? And I'm hosting 5 or 6 campus fairs together in a week's time across different cities in the UK as an example, right? I can just search using campus fairs. I don't need to search specifically called London campus fairs or Manchester campus fairs and things like that. So I think this just makes it very, very easy for candidates, for external candidates, who can rely on searching with these event categories. Apart from that, searching is one side of it. Event categories is now also available as a filter, right? So you can see on the second little screenshot that we have diversity hiring, campus recruitment, university hiring, which are just 3 sample event categories that have been created. So as a candidate, you can also search based on that, right? So if you're having any targeted events that you're doing, it really becomes easier for candidates to search for them and really easy for them to register for those events, right? By default, the events are sorted by start date in the descending order, and candidates can even further filter events by time frames, such as events happening in the next 7 days, the next 30 days, or greater than 30 days, right? So the experience for external candidates has been enhanced significantly from an event perspective. Again, going forward, an enhancement for the event details page in candidate experience side. So you now have 2 options that are available. You have the copy link button that has been added. So this makes it easier for the candidates to easily share the URL for the event details by copying it to their clipboards, right? So again, you might have noticed that all the career sites that Oracle Recruiting Cloud has, they are mobile responsive, right? And sometimes it's just tricky to copy the URL from your browser and paste it and share it with someone else. So this copy link button comes in really handy and is quite helpful. It's a neat little feature, right? It's nothing that is very major, but it just improves the user experience. And the register button label that you see now will now automatically change to already registered for events where a user has already registered, right? If a candidate has not yet confirmed their registration, the button label will now change to confirm your event registration, right? Earlier, you could only see register, but now you see your actual status in that button, right? Again, which reduces the number of clicks that have to be done. So all in all, it really improves the candidate experience for events in particular. Again, an extension for events, you can now render events in multiple languages on the career side. So if you are a customer who have multiple languages implemented, you can create events in as many languages as you might have enabled on Oracle Cloud, right? Again, this improves the language support for candidates on the career side for events and the corresponding notifications. Because depending on the language that a candidate would have selected while browsing, that language preference will be saved and all subsequent event notifications will be sent to them in their preferred language. So I do have customers who are into the UK, in the US, as well as they have operations in Europe, right? So we do have quite a few languages enabled, and this is going to be quite helpful for them because for certain candidates, right, who might not be well versed with English as an example, right, they do have an option of viewing these events in their local language and also get notifications out of Oracle in their local language. So that just makes the career site quite readable for them, quite user friendly for them, as well as the notifications, and that also helps in attracting the right kind of candidates who might not be well versed with English as a language. So I think that's quite a neat feature that Oracle have released. For customers who have subscribed to Recruiting Booster, there's a great feature that is coming up now. So with Recruiting Booster, we have Oracle Recruiting Assistant, which is an AI-powered chatbot. This will now help job seekers in finding relevant jobs on the career site. So candidates can search for jobs based on different criteria. They can view the recommended jobs, check their application status, withdraw their application, or in case if they want to join a talent pool for any updates, they could do that as well. ORA, which stands for Oracle Recruiting Assistant, now uses the candidate experience version 2 skill to provide an improved job search experience. Again, this is enable easy apply. That's a new flow that has been introduced, and this flow includes just the contact information and review blocks. So you might have noticed that with bigger and bigger customers, they are now relying on chatbots, right, to free up time for their employees to actually do things that can add a lot of value. So with that, with chatbots available, right, even if I have to, let's say my internet's not working, I go to my internet provider's website, I say my internet's not working, right? There's a chatbot available over there, which asks me a few questions and then gives me a resolution. And most of the time it just says reboot your Wi-Fi, right? Not helpful, but that's what I get. But assume the same kind of functionality, but it lets you apply for a job, which is very, very quick, right? As a candidate, I would definitely love it. And as you can see on the screen over here, the first screenshot, it says, I'm searching for a managerial kind of a job, right? So it gives me a few options, and I think I might be good as a lead engineer. So I say apply. Now, as soon as I say apply, the system wants to ensure that you accept the terms and conditions, right? Especially around data processing. You don't want a candidate to apply to a job without accepting those terms and conditions. So the system presents it. You say, yep, I agree to that. And it just asks you your contact details, your first name, last name, your email, and just tells you, would you like to submit the application, and gives you a button, submit and cancel. As soon as you submit it, there you go, you have successfully applied to a job, right? So it's fairly quick, it's quite conversation based, right? Rather than you actually searching through a lot of jobs on the career side. That's the conventional way of doing it. But again, this is just a different, a modern way of doing it, which suits a lot of people right now, right? So I think this is a great feature that Oracle has released for customers who have subscribed to Recruiting Booster. Talking about gigs, so we do have the enhanced feature of reporting on multi-person gigs. So if you have gigs that you use, the enhancement to the recruiting opportunity marketplace real-time subject area will now allow you to generate gig reports that include the total number of openings and the filled count, right? This update aligns the reporting capabilities with the content that is available in the opportunity marketplace, which provides a more accurate and comprehensive insights into gig activity. So we did talk about opportunity marketplace earlier, and I did mention about you can apply to jobs and gigs. So this is just an extension to that. Display name is now added to source tracking. So this applies to reporting again. So the subject areas, recruiting real time, recruiting events real time, and sourcing real time subject areas now include a new field called as display source, right? This field is available in these various subject areas where source names are now included. Earlier, they just used to be source tracking codes. So if somebody has applied on Indeed, as an example, or LinkedIn, it might just have its own code called IND or LINK, and somebody would have to either use bins or use conditional formatting and things like that to replace that to the actual source name, because you don't want hiring managers or recruiters to view that name, right? So with this upgrade now, you do have the option of using the display source, which actually has the name, which makes it quite easy for people to view this report. There are certain adjustments that Oracle have made in the recruiting campaign subject area. Now, again, as part of the Oracle Me experience, right, which was released last year, we have a new feature called as HCM Communicate. So the HCM Communicate campaigns now have been removed from the recruiting sourcing real-time subject area. So again, this is more from a reporting perspective. So while there are no changes in the list of available metrics and dimensions in this particular subject area, the reporting content earlier used to be a combination of HCM Communicate as well as recruiting campaign, which caused confusion with customers and end users, right? So now what Oracle has done is they've splitted that out. So in this particular subject area, you only have data available from the recruiting campaigns that you have and not HCM Communicate. So this update just helps with reducing the confusion for users who are using both recruiting campaigns as well as HCM Communicate as part of the Oracle Me experience. Moving on, again, this is more from a reporting perspective. The candidate tracking real-time subject area has now been enhanced to provide more details and precision. So things like when was the job added to favorites by clicking the star icon, the number of candidates that have cancelled, the number of successful submits, the number of unique visitors based on a temporary user ID. Those things, right? How many people pressed next when they were on the identification page? How many people clicked cancel? How many people visited the application flow after clicking next and things like that. So there's a lot of new metrics that Oracle is now delivering, right? So earlier, a lot of customers would rely on Google tracking, right? You could put in a JavaScript code and have Google tracking in place, and that is how you could track the number of visits that you had on your career site. But now Oracle is giving a lot of those metrics natively to you as part of OTBI. So, just drag and drop those columns, and you should have those metrics available with you. So with the availability of these metrics, I think you can now utilize this and really fine tune your candidate job applications to reduce dropouts or fallouts, right? So I think this is going to be quite helpful to system administrators and the marketing teams as well as the web development teams who really want to ensure a great user experience for external candidates. Then we have some enhancement for the HCM data loader from an Oracle Recruiting Cloud perspective. So for a candidate now, you can update their candidate numbers to be numeric. You can no longer change the legislation code for the candidate phone. Instead of that, you will have to delete it and then create a new one. One of the features that caught my eye was you can now redraft offers from these different phases and states. So you have offer extended, offer accepted, and once you have moved them to HR, you have HR pending automated processing, manual processing, error during processing. So I think these are some new enhancements that are available for HDL, which is HCM data loader, and HSDL, which is HCM spreadsheet data loader. There are some business objects with new attributes. So you have a content library where you can now upload responsibilities and qualifications, and it can be a maximum of 50,000 characters. For job requisitions and the job requisition template, Oracle now supports using the workplace type code field, which is again an enhancement to a field that they released last quarter, right? So again, quite exciting for customers who leverage using HDLs to create job requisitions in bulk. Again, extract remote fields on job requisition. So this is again an extension to the workplace type code field. So if you do have integrations that you are doing by using HCM extracts, you're getting a dump of all the requisitions that you have and sending it to a third-party website. And now you have started using the workplace type code field that you had on the requisition, which is a standard, right? You now have the option of including that in your HCM extracts as well. So I think that's going to be quite helpful to you. Now here's the first one for HR Helpdesk. So you have the option to configure primary contact and assignee behavior for an efficient agent experience. So system administrators now can change the default functionality of the create help desk request form. The default value for the primary contact can now be set to empty, right? So that the agent must choose the contact. Now, this is specific to a help desk agent creating a service request rather than a normal employee. I did face this as a question from a lot of customers that whenever an agent creates a service request, it is their name that gets defaulted into the primary contact. So can that be turned off? So with this 23B upgrade now, that is an option that is available. The assignment can also be defaulted to the logged in help desk agent, right? Because they are raising the help desk request, that would mean that there is a very high chance they would be aware of what that ticket or request is all about, right? So you can also default the assignee to the logged in help desk agent. The benefit that we see is that this will reduce error and save time by allowing the contact and assignee to be automatically assigned based on a business needs. Then we have the next one for HRHD. So you have the option of create and manage tasks and appointments for HRHD requests. So agents can now create and manage tasks and appointments activities for both HR Helpdesk and internal helpdesk requests. The benefit that they're going to have is this will help them assign tasks and and appointments individually and view the progress of those related activities. Any follow-ups that needs to be done, etc., can then now be broken down against a helpdesk request. Collaborate on helpdesk requests and cases through the use of relationships. So as you might be aware that we have case management available in the next gen HRHD, right? So you do now have the option of establishing relationship between helpdesk requests or between a helpdesk request and a case, right? So a case might have a few helpdesk requests associated to it. So you can use relationships now to establish that. The benefit is agents will also save time by being able to update the request or case and have the related HR helpdesk requests updated, making it unnecessary to duplicate updates for each related items, right? So you don't have to update it multiple times now because you have a relationship established between different helpdesk requests or between a helpdesk request and a case, right? So I think this is going to be quite helpful. We now have action plan analytics for helpdesk. So there are two new subject areas that are being introduced, which can help you in creating your own analysis. So we have the helpdesk HR service request action plan, actions real-time subject area, and the same is available for internal service requests. So this will provide helpdesk managers and agents a complete picture of all the action plan enforcements of company procedures at the team and individual level respectively, right? So if you have defined an action plan, you don't need to go through them individually. You can fetch a report out to get an overall understanding of what is happening. So that was the first set. The next set we have is quick wins, which are default with some configuration. So again, we are back to Oracle Recruiting Cloud. So we have the option of manually sending request information notifications. So back in the day, customers would often have, a notification automatically sent if there was a request for information that was needed for a candidate. Maybe a two-phase job application flow is a good example for that. Candidates may complain because sometimes the notifications might end up going to the junk folder and they might not be able to search for it. So it gets really tricky, right? So with this feature now, you can send RMI or a request information, notification manually. So this feature will help you send those notifications to candidates who might have missed the initial notification that the system would have triggered automatically. So I think this is going to be quite helpful. The next we have is pre-fill legislative info in job applications. So the job application process has been updated to capture more legislative information. And this feature automatically saves legislative information when creating applications on behalf of a candidate. And it pre-fills it for returning external candidates. So By capturing this information, diversity reports can be improved and provide more meaningful insights. This feature is always enabled for creating applications on behalf of a candidate. So this is not from an external candidate's perspective, but this is when a recruiter ends up creating a candidate job application on their behalf. These new fields are available then, and these will be saved. So whenever an external candidate applies again, they don't have to pre-fill this legislative information, which hence saves time, but also ensures that the correct information is available for them. There's a simple one-step process to change the start date of candidates. Now, this is again quite a biggie, and this is one of the features which again is a star feature according to me. So previously, the change start date action in Oracle recruiting was only available for internal candidates in the HR phase. But now you can use this action to change the start date for both internal as well as external candidates in a simple one-step process, right? So the change start date action is accessible from the job application and offers lists from the action menu. So it's the same place where you can extend an offer, reject an offer, rescind an offer, move candidate application and things like that. Additionally, now you can make multiple changes to start date and track these changes in the notification date time stamps in the messages tab of the job application as well. And with this benefit, you can change the proposed start date of both external and internal candidates by using the simple one-step process, which is going to save quite some time for recruiters. Right, so as you can see on the actions, you have to change start date as the last option, right? So it is here, which it is available now. Okay, moving next. You do now have the option of contextual journey for create job requisitions. So you can define contextual journeys for the create job requisition action, which is a series of tasks that help in streamlining routine or special processes within your organization. So you might have heard about contextual journeys and guided journeys and journeys just generally since quite some time from Oracle. So a contextual journey for create job requisition can be really helpful. And this is something one of our customers is really looking forward to, who wants certain policies and certain know-hows to be presented to a hiring manager when they create a job requisition, just so that they can avoid hiring managers creating job requisitions unnecessarily. So I think this is a great feature, and I'm sure you guys would also benefit out of this. Follow-up tasks in pools. So if you have candidate pools that you have defined, recruiters can now create follow-up tasks, right? So earlier we did not have this ability, but now you can create follow-up tasks, which can again be used in reporting, and you can track any additional tasks that you need to do to follow up with candidates. So everything is at one place now. You don't need to manage it outside in a OneNote or in an email, or create a dummy calendar invite and things like that. Everything is available in the system now against a candidate's profile itself. So I think this is going to be quite helpful. Job application flex fields for additional partner results. So you might want to consider talking to your screening partners about adding extra screening results to a candidate job application flex field. If they do agree, system administrators can now set up these flex fields for each partner's result payload. They will now be available in the screening results tab of the job application, right? So I think this is going to be very helpful. So one of the features that we see how this is going to be helpful is you don't need to visit the partner's website to view additional results, right? You can just have a look at it in the job application grid view itself if your partner is able to send those additional screening results back to you. Two-way communication for internal candidates. So Oracle did release two-way communication for external candidates. I think it was the last quarter as part of Recruiting Booster, but that was not available for internal candidates. So with this release, it is now available. So if a candidate has provided a phone number or an email, you can communicate with them directly from Oracle Recruiting. You don't need to manage the conversations outside of Oracle via Outlook or Gmail. right? So this really improves the user experience. I think this is the biggest feature release as of 23B, which is HR Helpdesk in the Redwood user experience or the Redwood design system is now generally available. So prior to this, customers who were using HR Helpdesk and wanting to move to Redwood design, which is absolutely brilliant, either had to be enrolled into an early adopter program or had to receive a promo code from Oracle support and the customer success managers from Oracle to be able to use it. But as of 23B, HR Helpdesk, the next gen HR Helpdesk is available in Redwood design systems or in the Redwood user experience. We have been using and implementing this for our customers. So please do use it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's fast. The user experience is great. And we have been hearing a lot of good things about this user experience from our customers. So we would recommend you to use it and do reach out to us in case if you do need any help in implementing the Redwood user experience. We do now have audit log enabled for help desk requests. So similar to us being able to enable audit across HCM for different business objects, HR helpdesk agents are now able to view the audit log, which tracks the changes that have happened to a help desk request, right? So I think this is going to be quite helpful. Understanding resource participation in help desk requests. So we do now have two subject areas available. We have help desk HR service request, resource real time, and the corresponding internal service request resource real time, right? So simple questions like, do specific products or service categories demand a greater degree of collaboration than others? Are agents on my team participating in more than their fair share of SRs, which usually affects the resolution times, right? So those kind of metrics are now available from OTBI with the release of these two new subject areas. So I think that is going to be quite beneficial to manage workloads. Moving on to new features which are opt-ins. So alternate location names. So external candidates can now find job locations using alternative location names. For instance, you can use CA for California, right? So if you just write CA, you should still be able to search for California. So I think this is going to help our user experience. I think United Kingdom, UK is again a good example. USA is again another good example, right? So I think this is going to be quite helpful. Optimized Indeed experience. So the job application experience for external candidates who found a job on Indeed has now been vastly improved, right? With Apply with Indeed, a candidate's data from Indeed is used to fill in their profile and their application form. So I think this is going to be really beneficial. When the optimized Indeed experience is enabled, candidates from specified Indeed domains can benefit from this particular user experience. The benefit that this feature delivers is that a candidate can apply with Indeed and their profile and their form will be filled with this feature and the drop-off rates can be reduced, right? So I think that is going to be quite beneficial for customers who post their jobs often on Indeed. I mean, there are markets where Indeed quite significantly dominates compared to Monster or LinkedIn as an example. So I think if you're operating in that particular market area, region, geography, I think this is going to be quite helpful to you. We do now have advanced job application filters. So with advanced filtering capabilities and when Oracle search is enabled, which I think most of you might have had it enabled, you can allow filters for more complex and targeted searches, which includes job application question and answers, skills, which are dynamic skills, employers, positions, what degrees they've had, what majors they've had, and you can also add Boolean operators like and, or, etc. to really fine-tune your searches. So I think this is going to be very helpful to you. We have additional interview durations. So with this enhancement, allow administrators to configure additional interview meeting durations that can be used when scheduling interviews with candidates. So you do have a lot of options available now. So 15-minute blocks, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 90 minutes, etc. So I think it is going to be quite helpful instead of just using 30, 15, and 1 hour, which was available right now. So it's just an example over here. You have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, 1 hour 30, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours, etc. Oracle does recommend not to create custom values, as the product may not know how to interpret them, right? So please stick to using these values that are available now. And I think these values do for majority of customers and different interview scheduling durations that you may have. You do have the option of adding questions to event registration flows. So whenever you have an event and you want to ask candidates a few registration questions, you will be able to do that. But just try to stick to a few of them, because you don't want candidates to answer a lot of questions and it does feel like it's a job application flow, but you actually want to invite them to a particular event. So this will help you in gathering more information, and in case if you have to plan some logistics, food, beverages, etc. So if you want to capture those kind of details from a candidate for an event, I think this feature is going to be massively helpful. You can calibrate event success through hired and applied metrics. So again, for all your events that you have, you can have these metrics available to you. How many were invited, how many registered, how many attended, how many matched to a requisition, how many applied within 30 days, and how many got hired, right? So I think this is going to be quite helpful to you. By default, the applied metric is set to 30 days and the hired metric is set to 90 days. But you can customize these settings based on your organization, right? So this feature enables you to assess the performance of your events over a specific evaluation period. And then we have got new features, the rest. So I'm almost there towards the end of the session. So we have interview preferred availability for automated scheduling. So this is again a part of Recruiting Booster, where you now have the option of integrating it with your Microsoft 365 accounts. So the system can have a look at your availability from your own calendar and suggest that to the candidate. But apart from that, if you want Oracle Recruiting to look at particular time slots on just certain days, you can specify that. So even though your calendar shows that you're free, but you only want to make yourself available on a Monday and a Wednesday for the interview, right? You can explicitly specify that look at your calendar, but only let candidates book on a Monday and a Wednesday between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as an example, right? So that just gives an additional flexibility to you as well as to the candidates to book appointments. So I think this is again a great feature that Oracle have released. Overlapping time slots for automated scheduling. So this is an extension to what I just talked about, right? So if you have requested Oracle to have a look at these additional time slots as well, they would not let you let candidates select an overlapping schedule. So if you have let's say you are setting up 1 hour interview slot, so you have it from 8:30, 9:30, etc. And if I as a candidate end up booking a time slot for 9 a.m., right? So you wouldn't want candidates to select an 8:30 a.m. slot or a 9:30 a.m. slot. So Oracle Recruiting Cloud now ensures that that does not happen, and it takes those slots away from the list that is available to the candidates to select. So that is where the overlapping time slots for automated scheduling feature comes into picture. So I think this, on one hand, gives a lot of flexibility to candidates and yourself to give more time slots to the candidates, but also ensures that there are no overlapping slots that two candidates confirm at the same time. And I think that was everything from us. So I'll hand it back to Hardik. I hope this was helpful and beneficial to you. And thank you for bearing me for the last 1 hour. And if you do have any questions, please do ask our team. Thank you, Simran. Thank you, Anuradha, for helping answering any questions that our attendees might have. Over to you, Hardik.
Hey, Amit, thank you so much for the wonderful insights. Thank you, everyone, for patiently listening to us. Before you all leave us, I would like to tell you that we'll be sending you the presentation PDF and also the recording of this session and the test scripts as well in by this weekend. So you'll get a very simple email. You just click on that email and it will take you to the page where you'll see all the content of the so far sessions done. And by the end of the series, you'll see all the recordings along with the PDF presentations and the test scripts in the HCM cases. Do we have any questions, just to be safe aside? Cross-check, Anuradha, if you can answer. Cross-check only.
No, we don't.
We don't have any questions. Okay, no worries. Then we can see the list of upcoming sessions coming in. Workforce Management, Global Payroll, which is tomorrow. If anyone has missed it, please pass the message to your colleagues. They can register and be part of this session. Finance, Benefits and Compensation coming up next week. And then Supply Chain, Inventory and Order Management. So that's about it from our end. And once again, just look for an email from us, and wherein you'll find all the relevant content for the session. Or if anyone has missed it from your team, please pass it to them as well. That's what it. Just before you all leave us, would like to just take a quick feedback on how we did today on the scale of 1 to 5, where 5 means very good. Your feedback will help us improving going forward, so please do leave feedback before you leave us, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll be closing the poll now. Thank you. Thank you once again, everyone. Thank you.